How's it going, everybody? It's me again, your lovable, unaffiliated, uncorporatized, uncommercialized reporter, Azure. Here I am, on the cusps, on the grasp of greatness, because in 1 week, that's right, just 1 week, not even that, like less than a week, like next Monday, it's coming. Lagiacrus, Seregios, Arch-tempered Uthuna, which is sad because it's like a new monster from the game, and yet it's so overshadowed by a monster that well technically hasn't been around since the Nintendo franchise series, but it's like they're both like water monsters except Gaiacrus uses lightning if I'm not mistaken, and his attacks look like insane. I was just playing World and fighting Fatalis, but I lost. So here's footage of me fighting Lunastra instead. Yeah, like we are living in the world where we kind of like I figured like Dear Gamer was making a video about it, Ruacon, everybody was talking about Raging Gaming and how people were basically I wouldn't say purposefully because if it's like a technical issue that is there, right, like I'm not gonna blame someone who has a PC but their like video card or like their oh sorry, it's GPU as it's called nowadays, like can't recognize it, or they have driver problems or memory problems. It's like like I don't want to like say, oh, you have no right to say that this game's bad. Well, if your experience with excuse me, with it is bad, then that's your opinion. Oh, by the way, I semi-fixed the heating problems with my PlayStation 3. So I'm gonna be doing more videos, like to balance playing for like footage and like recording and all that stuff. Like I'm basically running my PlayStation something like 3 to 4 hours a day at least, right? And I'm trying to cut back on that. And yeah, like if you can hear it, I just attached some like add-on fans. They say like you don't need to do that, but I beg to differ. Like the difference is dramatic. Like I'm dumping heat from the top. There's also like a dust protector, and then like I'm getting an intake from the side, and then I'm dumping heat out the bottom of the console. Then I'm gonna get something like soon to dump the heat out the back. Like, and I would suggest anybody who wants to have this console long term to invest in these things because unfortunately, like unless you live in a house with like spacious interior or like a really powerful air conditioner, like you're not gonna have a good time with these consoles, especially in the summertime. If your air conditioner fails, like just don't use it. Like that's the way I see it. And like even with these fans, I wouldn't go as far as to say that like yeah, that's a good idea. Like this is just to lower the temperature. It's not gonna like magically like make it, you know, more cool, more cold. And then I fiddled with the settings in my TV because I noticed like like a lot of my videos when I upload it to YouTube, they like look washed out. And then I checked on the TV and apparently I had like, my gamma settings were incorrect and I had like, oversaturated like, white tone and like the image was like actually making me like when I would play games at night, it would kind of make me like tear up. And I was like, why is this? Like I don't feel as if like but the image was like super bright. Even my TV is like a smart TV. It's telling me it's like, hey, you want to turn the image brightness down? But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the man. I don't know how he does this. Okay, Johnny Bravo has an insane amount of resources at his disposal. Like the fact that he can know things and he has sources and like he gets the inside scoop on pretty much anything. Like he got that video from Wes Watson. He got like the inside scoop now on like oh my goodness, it's not looking good. So apparently, and here's my history with it, right? Oh my god. Memory lane, right? Memory lane. So back in the day, before COVID, we were introduced to this male individual known as the Liver King, and working out, and I kind of got like back then my upper abs, so I kind of like had like abs that kind of looked like his, but he's not natural at all. I just didn't know that at the time, so I'm like, oh, okay. And he kind of like, I'm not saying he influenced me 100% to like eat meat and subsequently beef, and like I had to leave my religion for that and convert to Buddhism. But like, besides the point, right? Like, I wanted to like work out to look like him, but not like as big, but like just like have like the cut muscle. Fast forward, more plates, more dates. Derek exposes him, and it's funny because he remembers like how Derek exposed him because it wasn't that long ago. I think it was like shortly after COVID, if I'm not mistaken, maybe like when the restrictions were let up and everyone was like allowed to go outside. So Johnny Bravo found out like the this guy wants to kill Joe Rogan. Why? For the most insane reason ever. Like fame and fortune and money will do things to a man that will turn them into, I guess, an unreasonable person. Like, how can you not have been told by his? I guess his family is somewhat enabling him, or they're just silent for the sake of his sanity, or like like they know that like he's having a mental issue or whatever, and they're just gonna support him, right or wrong, and like say what you want about like people, but when it comes to family and their love for their father, mother, children, whatever, right? Like sometimes you're gonna see them do things that like I wouldn't do that, but it's not your kid, so how you gonna make that you know thing, right? And he's taking his kids, right? He went to Austin, Texas, sorry, uh, to go meet him. I think he wanted to go on his podcast, and see, like the reason why I want to keep these stories vague is because that's not important. Like these details as to what is between him and Joe Rogan is personal, and I don't need to know those details. But what I do need to know is like, because it's like this ongoing thing where you have these male archetypes that come out of nowhere. They are needlessly aggressive for the sake of impressing children. You know what I mean? Like the kinds of like the edgelord attitude that like would only impress like teenagers and kids and stuff, like young males specifically, right? And it's so transparently like obvious what you're trying to do. And when you see adults doing it, like teenagers past a certain age, when people in their 20s, 30s, like it's not just secondhand embarrassment. It's like these kids are growing up. They're like asking themselves, why can't I get a job? Where are my opportunities? Why can't I afford a house? Where do I live? Where do I like? How come I don't have like the ability to like speak for myself, or like stand up for like what I believe in without like being accused of all these isms? It's like the word they. I was watching this guy. I think his name is WestJet. He said it the best. It's like the most oppressed class of people in the world, like the most oppressed minority, is middle-aged white man who's balding. And it's kind of sadly true because when you think about Hollywood and like the whole idolization of like they call it the male gaze, female gaze, whatever. But it's like I don't think the females really so much created it. It's just like the guys went into the gym, and then they just started getting muscle, and then like they were like, "Oh, how did you get those types of muscles?" And then everybody started copying that, and now we have muscles on top of muscles, and it's just like, okay, so do they actually serve a purpose? Like, can people do handstands? Can they like climb better with them? I'm seeing that it's more or less to show off, right? Like, and I'm gonna bounce between like Liver King and like other topics, and like I don't feel as if like because I'm 40, right? And there's other YouTubers and other people who are more qualified and honestly younger and more whatever, right, to speak on this. But there's just like this kid. going around YouTube, and everyone's like, clowning him and stuff because like his body, his proportions are, totally. But he's like a kid to me. Like I'm over twice his age, so I'm not gonna break up his name or whatever. But it's like, you know, it is one of those things that, as much as I'd liked him to like, want him to be natural or whatever, all this stuff, like you're getting this idea that these guys, like who use this type of mannerism to it's just impress kids. Like I gave it like a long and hard thought for like the longest time. Like why do they act like this? For like Hassan, all these people, they're impressing kids, dude. It's weird. You know what I mean? Like, and you think that it would stop at just, you know, the children of those age groups? No, it actually, bleeds out into like older generations. Like older people are acting, more and more immature, and we're finding this out because the Tesla car bombings and all these like crazy wackadoo people, blocking traffic, free Palestine. Oh, by the way, Iran declared victory. Victory of what though? Like, what does that mean? Does it mean Israel's gone? Does it mean all the Zionist Jews are destroyed? Or does it mean like, your country is like gonna be in a constant like, like under a constant like, fear of assassination by Jew? Dude, like they took out like all of their military personnel and even the people coming in to replace them. Can you imagine? That's your job. It's like, all right, you're the next guy in line, and the other two people were killed, and like the second guy got killed within like a week of going on the job, dude. That's like hell on earth, man. But like, yeah, victory, of course, because you know, roids are real, but men are fake. People can inject things into themselves or inject, ideas into other people, and get things done that way. But were they ever really men? Like, do you think like the Ayatollah, who's calling, saying all these things basically, and then just running around hiding in bunkers and shit? Like, do you think like he has any like weight or gravity to his like existence? And yet like they want it so badly. This false premise of supremacy, where even if they got what they wanted, like here's the thing, and I'm gonna get a lot of hate for saying this, but like, you asked for this Sungrad, even though it has nothing to do with you. So like, if every single non-Muslim left the planet Earth, like we just said fuck it, and we all got in like in spacecrafts and like went our own ways and shit, and we just left the entire planet to the Muslims, dude, they would flip the fuck out, dude. They would just be like, no, no, because even if they're like you see some of them celebrating, they would realize within like a generation, like not even like half a generation, the inbreeding would be so vast and so grand that like the human race will regress into like a puddle of evolutionary soup, like back into the prehistoric Mesozoic era of like deformity. My goodness, like it's so crazy how I honestly thought this would be World War III, and what it ended up being was just another like Middle Eastern despot country. Mind you, Iran is a pretty big one, so that's why I was scared. But like the fact that they were so weak and they were put down so easily, like says everything you need to know about them and then some. Like, good news, I have yet to hear about or see on the news that any protest or whatever. But that goes without saying that like Persians are actually well behaved and their parents beat their kids, which is good. You know, everybody should beat their kids. Everybody. Okay, but like on the real though, I'm bringing up Sungrad because okay, so why is Monster Hunter Wild getting such a bad review? Specifically on PC Steam reviews. Well, yeah, the PC port probably is pretty bad. Like everyone was complaining about it when it released. I have a Matsuri, my I'm a fan of his, but I consider him my friend. Like he, on multiple occasions would have the game crash on him. But like, we're both we're both so happy, dude. Like I didn't see Sergio's coming. He just comes out of nowhere. I'm like, wow, man, really? And like, okay, think about it like this. You could have added like just some like joke monster or like a monster that people don't really like or care about. But like Sergio's has like um history because not only is like he a Nintendo franchised, monster, right? Like he came out on, well, the Wii, I guess. But he's special in the sense that he's like a falcon and like a wyvern at the same time. So he's like one of the more dangerous monsters. So we're all complaining. Well, the community. I'm not. I'm actually pretty okay with the difficulty. But like the monster community is the monster hunter like complaining. Knitting circle of like old moms and retirees. Vietnam veterans. Monster Hunter 1 fans, aka Monster Hunter 1 fans. I'm just kidding. But like, we're gonna get so much more difficulty now. Oh man, my computer just did something. I don't know what the heck. And yeah, looking like good times, but unfortunately, the good times come with the bad times because, men are fake, man. But the roids are real. Like, people will hide behind, products and pharmaceutical, like, medicines and steroids and stuff, and the media and religion and all this crap. But like, when it comes to like their own, ideas, judgments, opinions, it's very much filtered through the lens of like cowardice, because Hassan has like all three of his I don't know if they're his friends personally, but I did Denims and Frogan are like, brought up on his channel very frequently. So I am actually kind of puzzled why like these girls are coming out with a GoFundMe. Like a part of me thinks it's like a scam, but then at the same time it's like, can you imagine like Hassan like having to pull out money from his own like account just to like pay the defense of these people? Oh my god, that would just be the worst. I failed miserably. Oh man, I can't believe she saved us. Okay, good, good. I thought I lost this playthrough. Like, why did I upload it? But yeah, so he's not funding like what was it, Casey Tron, Frogan, Denims. It's hilarious how Ethan's going specifically after girls. I find that hilarious because it's like he's making Hassan look weak for not like paying their legal defense. Like the fact that they had to create a GoFundMe in the first place is insane. Oh man. And I was watching like this other one, like this like crazy those typical alpha males that just come out of nowhere and like they, act a fool and like they're most likely on gear and stuff. And like this one was pretty bad. So this guy, and here's like my level of racism. I thought this guy the whole time was a Muslim because his name is King Aluze, right? Ben Aluze. Dog, this guy turns out to be like the worst of the worst, and it actually makes me go back to like Andrew Tate because I don't know if they know their acquaintances with each other or whatever, but it like makes me like realize that like the reality of men who abuse women, especially when they utilize gear. So like if I were to venture a guess, it would be erectile dysfunction or something along those lines. I find as if like it's more or less like a mental temperament, like they're always going to be like this. And I bring this up because the guy is, well, you're gonna see like videos about this guy coming out, and they're the evidence, is damning. It's just the worst. And I joked about like, um, Andrew Tate being, the best thing for the UK, and unfortunately, he isn't. Like, we live in a society of fake men, right? Like all around too, from Hassan to Tate to King Aluze, Ben Aluze, fucking who else? Liver King, like so many fake men, and the irony of it all is like, you have a guy like Arnold Schwarzenegger, who people like, they look up to him, but it's just like, yo, the guy, he did roids. It's fake. This is what men look up to. That's why I hate being a man. Because it's like, the idea that I have to fit in this box of masculinity that never really existed, it wasn't true. It's just like, well, whatever. Anyways, thanks for listening and watching my video, and I hope I see you in the Monster Hunter update this Monday. Till then, take care.